Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Before we begin, as always, I want to recognize the seriousness of this situation and how hard any time an officer is involved in a shooting on the officers, on the community, and on the subjects involved. I can tell you this with certainty, there is no officer that ever shows up for work wanting to pull their handgun, wanting to use their handgun. These moments represent some of the most difficult times when it comes to policing, and we all know what we sign up for when we get here. These decisions are guided by their training, their experience, and their duty to protect the public. They take that oath to do that. In this case, the officer involved made a decision based on what he witnessed and believed was an imminent threat to the safety of our community. It was crucial for him to act quickly and effectively to contain the situation. We, again, are still very early in this investigation and in this process. I want you to keep that in mind. And at this point, all findings are preliminary. As with any critical incidents, we have multiple investigative processes underway, and sometimes those are acting in parallel and in tandem. This includes reviewing departmental policy, training protocols, and tactical decision-making. This process takes time and involves careful, in-depth review. During this incident, a 16-year-old male inside the subject vehicle was struck by gunfire. He was given life-saving medical aid. I'm sorry. I think I'm off of key here. My apologies. Let me get back on here. All right. So during this incident, we had a 16-year-old male inside of the suspect vehicle that was struck by gunfire. This officer was driving and witnessed a drive-by shooting. He witnessed a passenger pull a gun out of the passenger side window and fire. It appeared to the officer that he struck a person on the sidewalk fell to the ground. The officer continued to follow the car. The car slowed, made a right-hand turn. The officer exited his vehicle, gave commands for the car to stop. The car continued slowly turning. The officer, giving commands again, fired 2 shots, striking the passenger side window. Again, a 16-year-old male was struck in the neck. The car continued to drive. The officers found that car a short time later on a side street where the 16-year-old injured with the injuries to the neck was located. Again, my sympathies to the family as we go through this. Rudy, we'll go ahead and start with the videos. So we're going to start with the radio traffic.
Edward 804, I'm behind a vehicle. He just shot at someone on the curb. Someone's down at Northgate and Runberg. He's traveling east on Runberg. Speeds are 6 miles an hour. We'll be in pursuit. I'll be the supervisor.
10-4. Okay, the description of the vehicle?
Everyone, please. Get him some more units.
10-4. Got 8 remaining cam, 1 en route.
Going south on Parkfield. There was a shot came out of the passenger side of the vehicle.
10-4.
Edward 804, shots fired.
So at that point, we're talking a matter of 10 to 12 seconds that have passed at that point before shots were fired after following the vehicle. Go ahead with the body-worn camera.
And you have troops in the area of Runberg.
Stop! Austin, please!
Right now.
Edward 804, shots fired.
From Runberg.
You can see he's keeping his gun out because at that point you don't know what you have, right? And so for safety measures, you keep your gun out and at the ready when it needs to be. Again, this is a situation where he felt that car was a danger. The person inside was a danger. He witnessed him fire his firearm and what he believed was shoot somebody. Afterward, it came that there was no one hit. Looks like that person just dropped to the ground due to the gunfire. We're still searching for that person as well. Do we have another, Rudy, another video? This is the in-car camera.
And you have troops in the area of Runberg. We had a shooting.
Austin, please!
Right now.
Radio downtown Parkfield.
Okay, so I'll go into the facts again. Officer James McKinney was working patrol near that Northgate Boulevard and Runberg Lane. He was driving behind this vehicle again when he observed the suspect from the vehicle shooting a firearm out of the passenger side window. He observed individuals drop to the ground following the shooting, again believing that someone had been struck. Evidence statements, again, we have statements from 3 of the individuals that were in the car that they knew the police were behind them, and it was the passenger driver that was shooting out of the car. Officer McKinney immediately reported the gunfire to dispatch, believing again that the victim had been struck. Additional Austin police officers responded. None were located again. It wasn't until several minutes later that the vehicle was located on a side street. It is important to know that there was also a gun located inside the vehicle as well. Again, these are my condolences to the family. These are very difficult situations for sure. The officer, again, is on that administrative leave, which is standard protocol here. So at this point, we'll go ahead and take a few questions.
Please raise your hands. Brianna, and then Meredith. Are there any policy concern questions when it comes to giving commands to somebody who is inside a car? I know it's early, but I want to.
Yeah, I think it is early, but I do want to say this. When you talk about exigent circumstances and what that looks like, and so this officer's believing he just witnessed a possible homicide, is what he's believing. And so what is the community concern there? Is this a person that's going to be traveling, shooting more? What do we have here? And so to me, it's believing that there is still a continued threat. So again, very early in the process, but when I'm looking at this and looking at all the things I know, there was still a threat in his mind that this person could either, if they got away, could shoot someone else. Were they coming back around to shoot the person that they had just shot at? What was going on inside that vehicle?
Meredith, and then to the right.
Before he shot, was he trying to pull the car over? Like, I don't see lights.
No, he was just doing patrol. So he's just doing patrol when he gets behind this car in this neighborhood and witnesses this. You can see as he moves forward, he did not put his lights and sirens on. You can see him in part of the camera where he attempts to push something. I think he puts his lights on, his overhead lights on. But the people in the car did say they knew the police were behind them, but his lights and sirens were not activated.
And then I just wanted to verify, it was 2 shots that the officer fired?
Yes.
Okay, and then also sort of following these officer-involved incidents, including the 6th Street altercations, which I know that we're not talking about today, I just kind of wanted to ask what APD is doing kind of with the public transparency as well.
Well, we're here today. I mean, this has been, 3-4 days after the incident. The 6th Street incident is something that investigation has to play out. There's due process involved there, and as soon as we can, we will absolutely get in front of you with that.
Meredith?
There were a total of 4 people in the car, is that correct?
There were, yes, 4 that were detained, and 1 is missing. So we are seeking information on a 5th person.
The person who was shot was in the passenger seat?
The front passenger seat, yes,
And
where the gun was located.
did or I guess 2 other people that you'll detained at this point, did they give any sort of reason why they shot at this person on the sidewalk?
Yeah, I don't think we're releasing that at this point.
Brianna?
I have a couple. This is just for
Sure.
clarification and timeline stuff, not trying to cheat the system. So did you say for certain that the officer's gun is the one that struck the passenger? Or is that still under investigation?
That is still under investigation,
Okay,
yes.
that's still under investigation. And then, so after we see the car turn right, the gunshots, the officer fires first, and then the car is found a couple minutes later, abandoned by all of the people except for the person
That's
who
right.
shot.
That's right.
Okay, thank you. And how many years on the force does the officer have?
Let me see if I have that. It's in the press release. Anything else?